We have a solution. The Whine No Whine Show, where you can be friended and offended all in the same hour, where we gather people from all different walks of life and perspectives, and we talk about everything that everyone has told you not to. Religion, politics, and everything under the sun. Nothing is off limits, and we do it all over a glass of wine. So grab a glass and join us as we save America, one civil conversation at a time.
3, 2, 1, action!
What is going on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and every other place we are? I used to just say Facebook. It's so awkward now. I have like a whole list of things. I haven't really come up with a good thing that I should say. Hello, social media people, whatever.
Social media universe.
Yeah, there we go. Multiverse. Peeps.
That's my role on the show.
Hello, world.
I have no idea.
Hello, world.
Hello, world.
There you go.
This whole show with an English accent, Joe. Can you do that?
Hello, world.
Oh, you got to do that.
Cheerio, pip, pip.
Yes, do it.
That's appropriate for this one too. We got the Big Ripper.
We do, right.
That would work.
Right. That's not
Can
a
you
wine.
Can you do it?
This is a wine.
I
Right.
challenge you. I challenge
Okay,
you.
Crikey.
Cats.
All right. The people are tuning out.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
lost
there we go.
Australia.
We did.
They're gone.
Oh, gosh.
They tuned out.
Come back.
Yeah.
Come back.
Were they ever really here?
Yeah, actually, you know what? In the
They were down
top,
under.
in
They might
the
be.
check it out. In all seriousness, the top 25 cities at number 23 in the views, right? At number 23, London, and at number 24, Sydney.
Sydney's awesome.
Is that not
Well,
crazy?
we love
I'm like,
London.
We
and
love you,
Sydney.
Australia.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. For all of
Yeah.
our Sydney people that are tuning in, hey, what's up?
Those
We're gonna be drinking some of y'all's wine.
Yes.
Today's topic is a fun one. It's a doozy, all right? So we've had lots of, issues in the news,
Fun one.
mass shootings, all this sort of thing. And this is one that comes up on a regular basis, firearms and keeping them locked up in the home. What's your thoughts? Should parents be required to keep firearms locked up if there are children present in the home, if there's minors present in the home? What are your thoughts? Share your comments on this. I'm sure you've got an opinion. We're going to dive into it. Our production crew is going to be looking for the best comments. We're going to do a commercial break about halfway through the show, and when we come back from the commercial break, we're going to be hitting your comments. So, will you make the cut? I don't know. Have something brilliant to say. 3, 2, 1. Be brilliant. Go. All right. Today's wine, the Big Ripper. I have so many jokes right off the bat about that.
my wife has an instant application for that for
Yeah.
me, and it's
None
not
appropriate.
kind.
None
Yes.
of them appropriate. Yeah.
I hope she's watching.
Me too.
Yeah. The big, and welcome to the 6 o'clock hour. This is the
Yeah,
first
this is the
show
first
at
6
6
o'clock
o'clock.
show,
That's
yeah.
right. The
We
very
need to do a little
first.
cheers.
Yeah, we will
We'll
do that.
toast.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So today's wine, the Big Ripper, is a Verdelho, which is normally like a Portuguese grape, but this is a Portuguese grape that is grown in Australia. And it says that...
Wouldn't that make it an Australian grape?
well, no, because they get all picky about where the grapes come from and all that jazz. Yeah,
Identifies as Australian.
You just yeah, it identifies as Australian. Yeah, it's a Portuguese, but it identifies.
Nice.
Oh,
Trans,
Well done.
transnational. It's transnational.
Whatever it wants to be.
Whatever it is, it's good.
All right, it's a.
As you'll see later, it's not a grape at all. It's a plum.
It says it's fruity but not sweet, with aromas of apricots. Children.
I'm laughing at your production crew. It's the first time I made the production crew laugh.
Joe, I feel bad for you.
So how about those cats?
The calves? They're not doing well. Is that what you said?
No. So this is a fruity but not sweet wine with aromas of apricot, hints of peach, and even a hint of honey. The acidity is soft and well balanced, providing a clean, light finish. It's satisfying without being heavy, smooth, and easy drinking. So that's what it's described as. Keep that in mind, folks, and see if you can taste any of those flavors. And cheers to a good show.
I hear it's
Our
the
very
6 o'clock
first-
hour,
Our
right?
very
Hour.
first clinkable moment
Yes.
of the 6 o'clock hour, right here. We
Right
witnessed
before we talk about a big subject.
Thought we'd get a straw.
We'd get a straw. Hey, first of all, I'm going to give a shout out. Brand new sponsors, Nicole Thalji, brand new sponsor. Is she in the
Oh yeah, in the middle.
Great. She is scrolling across the bottom there. Brand new
Awesome.
sponsor, a real estate agent, and a phenomenal human being.
Yes.
She just wanted to support the show and
Very
was
nice.
like, "Oh, I get my name on there as well." I'm like, "Yeah, that's kind of the idea." And she's like, I just want to support the show." So
We
that's
like
the kind
her.
of person she
Yes,
is.
that's
Phenomenal real estate agent. Show her love and support if you're looking to buy or sell a home. She's your girl. And right behind that, Dean DeBasey, First Choice Home Loans. He's a beast of a loan officer. Man, if you need to get the loan done, that's your dude. Phil and Derek's downtown in Midtown, Jazz and Wine Bar. That's a really cool place. If you haven't been down there, go check them out. Chelsea Connolly with the Body Mechanics Massage Therapy up in Longview, Texas. Home of Mr. I lost it. That's so sad. Matthew McConaughey. I was gonna do what's his
Mattress
All
back.
right, all right, all right.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh.
I was gonna say home of all right. Anyway,
I didn't know that.
it was I blew it.
I was so
I'm just
lost
gonna,
on that one.
I'm gonna go home now.
I went mattress
Y'all
back.
got it right. I know.
What
I
was
don't-
that?
yeah. All right. So anyway, yeah, and a brand new feeding our guest sponsor, CiCi's Pizza, right here at Humboldt, across the parking lot from our studio.
You got those pizzas comped?
Oh, they're a sponsor.
That's awesome.
They're a sponsor.
Yeah, dude, they're a sponsor of the show. Hey, you know what, man? I went over and talked to him. I talked to the manager first, hand me off to Pedro, the owner, and I started talking about the show. He loved the idea of the show, and he said, "How much is it?" And I said, "Just the cost of the food, man." He was done. Yeah, he was 100% on. And I was like, "I only need 3 pizzas." He's like, "No, you need 4
The
pizzas."
salesman in me is
Yeah.
going, "You left so much money on the table."
yes.
But I will say that's one thing about Joe is that, man, if you're in for the mission of the show, he cares way more about that than it's about how much you want to buy
Oh,
an
absolutely.
advertising.
Very rare.
Absolutely.
Very
Yeah,
rare.
that's what we're about.
Well,
Right.
the pizza was
Actually,
good.
It is good.
I had people ask me
wanna be a
about.
sponsor now.
Hey, man. I with all honesty, I had people interested in sponsoring that I didn't follow up with just because their approach was really from the advertising side. They were like, and I'm like, nah, I'm really looking for people that believe in the mission of the show. So all those sponsors are on board.
And
with
that's
that.
community sport and community, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what the whole gist of the program is. And it's not CiCi's really looking for a bigger, higher mission. It's really CiCi's just sponsoring a community event, and,
Yep.
and that's kind of the cool thing.
That is
a lot of
very much so.
businesses do that don't ask for greater things.
Yep, absolutely right.
And we
So
will-
we got a big
we will
juicy
take a box
topic.
to go.
The target audience there, though, too, just one last dovetail on that, is that when you think about who you're marketing to, you want the people that can do what we do on the show and who are supporting the mission of the show.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't want the people that are going to jump up and down in your car and burn the house down.
True story.
That's not really the
True
business
story.
I go for.
That's another topic.
That's exactly right.
That was topic 5.
Yeah.
Hey, that could actually be very brilliant on CiCi's part. They're just trying to pack the audience with people who are sane and civil people.
That's right.
Yeah, there's
Sure.
good point. So thanks to Pedro right across the parking lot for
Yes.
CiCi's brand new sponsor. Really appreciate those guys hooking us up with the food for the guests,
Yes.
so they don't have to drink on an empty stomach. So this is our shameless plug section of the show. We want to give the guests the opportunity to introduce themselves and let us know who you guys are and what y'all are about. A minute or so, keep it tight, and promote whatever the heck y'all want. I'll always start with the ladies first. So
Oh, okay.
Melissa.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm Melissa Allcorn. I'm a Christian life crisis coach, motivational speaker. I also teach online workshops for coaching on different topics. I have online Bible studies. So pretty much blasting out my whole social media world with what I do and what God has called me to do. So I'm super honored to be here today. Thank you for inviting me. Excited to hang out with these guys, and the wine is really good. So you could follow me on Facebook at Melissa Allcorn. You could go to melissa-allcorn.com. And then you can also follow me and my new husband. We just got married a couple months ago. He's right there. He's really cute. So we have our own
He
thing
is.
too.
He is.
Yeah, he is. He's hot. He's mine. Okay.
For now.
No, you know, oh, we'll go blow.
Depends on how the show.
You missed
Yeah,
it.
you will
Depends
go
on how the
blow.
show
He already
goes.
slid him the
We'll
digits,
go
man.
blow. You can follow us. Hey, I'm gonna plug us. It's my turn. So, excuse me, pause. So you can come follow us, Melissa Jason. What is it? Melissa and Jason Allcorn, because we do a lot of Facebook Lives and we're really fun and funny.
Very cool.
It's my plug.
All right.
I'll take to that.
It. Okay.
I'll drink to that.
I've known her
Thank
all
you.
15 minutes. I will definitely attest to that. It's
Okay.
funny and funny. I'm David Pipkin, arguably one of the original grape, or the original grape head, arguably, right? We had that whole debate on that
Yep.
between myself and Mr. Steve Williams, Steve, hope you're feeling better, my brother.
Yep.
I know he's been having
Kidney
his
issues.
trials.
Yep.
So I don't even know what my shameless plug is in this time. You know what I'll do, since I'm on the spot, because I went thinking, I got caught up listening to Melissa here, so
That happens.
I'll say
Mesmerized.
that I've taken the next step in getting older. I now have my first set of the progressive lenses.
Oh, wow.
I can actually see things up close. I don't have to do the whole take the glasses off now, but it's interesting, man. This 50th trip around the sun is just it's quite a journey. So, but I do want to give a shout out to America's Best. I think it's America's Best Contacts and Lenses or something like that, or Contacts and Glasses. I mean, they were phenomenal.
Production team, can y'all shoot them an invoice, please?
That's exactly what I was kind of thinking.
They were good. My wife and I are out there in Katy.
You have
and,
their address by any chance?
I'll get it for you. By all means, they'll definitely thank me for that.
Just an invoice show up in the mail.
Good thing. I've already paid my bill. But no, they were really phenomenal. I'd go check them out. They do the whole thing. They take the picture of your eye, and you can see the whole scope of your eyeball inside to out. Have y'all ever done that before?
Oh,
It's really, really cool. So you got to do that. It's
I've taken the second step of aging, and I've lost my progressive lenses.
There you go. All right. Well, go see my
Do
buddies
you
over
get
there.
dizzy though?
It's weird.
That would be-
I'm still
You
getting
adjust
used
to
to
it.
it.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it, and I'm not. There may be some minor issues with these that sometimes you have to go
So
take
that
them
makes
back.
some sense. Thanks for explaining that.
Yeah, it helps, but I'm enjoying them. I can actually I can pick up a book and go, hey, I can
Yeah.
read that, and it's
Wow,
actually clear.
Yeah.
I can see clearly now. That's right.
There's a Brian Regan
Brian
routine
is
on
cool.
that about trifocals. You need to go see that too. The comedian I told you about,
Yeah.
Brian Regan. There's my other shameless plug. Brian Regan is awesome comedian, clean, and he's like, anyway.
Is he local?
We're
I've heard that
dovetailing.
name, it seems.
No, he's all
famous,
over.
yeah.
He's I forget where he's from.
Mr. Hargrove.
Man, I've been keeping a
Rambling.
low profile, I think. So James Hargrove, I do commercial residential real estate. Nothing to promote really right now that I'm really feeling excited about. I was, though, recently nominated as one of Houston's top 10 most eligible bachelors by somebody that doesn't know me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So there's
Wow.
an event coming up July 28th.
What's wrong with them?
I don't
What was
know.
his
Like I say, they don't know me, so they thought, hey,
Lots of
he might
wine.
make the list. He
Oh,
might make
I was
the
just
list.
saying, what was his name?
Hey,
He's raising his
James,
hand.
I wasn't going to tell you, but it was me.
You know me.
Wow. Do we get to vote?
So Fred,
So there's a reason I asked you two on the show.
So so Fred Georges is also on the panel. You know Fred, right?
Yeah.
So I saw his name on the list. I was like, oh no, I feel like I gotta go because I know somebody. there,
Right? Wow.
He's like, you were the most eligible bachelor.
Except for the other 9 guys.
Topic
right?
3.
That's all I got.
That's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's only going to happen once, right? Until I get to the retirement home or something. Maybe it'll happen there again. But it's not something you're going to do all the time. So.
You should retire early and go to the retirement home.
I
You'd be
kinda,
like the young
I
buck,
kinda,
you
I feel
know.
retired because I just kind of I don't really do anything.
Well, if you want to spend some money, talk to me after.
Well, I don't really
That's
have
just
money
say I know a
either.
good
That's all I got. Go ahead.
All right.
That's
Spence.
Very good. Spencer Polwort. I am the founder of IAM23.org. Our foundation really goes towards changing the narrative on soldier suicide. Every day, 22 veterans commit suicide. Our foundation really is committed to changing that to highlight soldier suicide and veteran, or to highlight the successes that veterans are having despite the often debilitating effects of PTSD. A lot of veterans out there are just absolutely beasting it. They're succeeding in business. They're succeeding in their lot in life. A lot of them have been at the bottom of a dark hole and they found their way out. So our foundation is really focused on those people to show other veterans who may be suffering that, you know what, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that through their stories of success, and inspiration that we can show other vets who may be suffering that, you know what, it does get better. Right now we're in the process of taking the message national. We're in an aggressive corporate fundraising mission statement right now. Hopefully I will have some good news here very shortly, but a lot of trips lined up. I'll be up in Manhattan on June 20th to the 24th. Going to Ground Zero, meeting some good people.
Nice.
Going to see my buddy JB, who's hopefully watching, and with his service dog Bernie, Thomas Falkenberry, his dog Sam. A lot of great people, a lot of good stuff.
Right on.
Run a mission about once a month. Really excited to say, about a month and a half ago, we had the first that I've ever heard of, first all-female retreat hosted by and taught by an all-female staff. And that was a huge credit to our executive director, Lindsay Box, that put that together. So a lot of good things going on.
Very cool, man.
Little known fact.
That's awesome. And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Little known fact, I knew Joe when he had hair.
Long hair at that.
Long
hair, yeah,
like
yeah.
Barbie hair.
Yeah, Barbie hair.
I've seen that picture, yeah.
In fact, he's the reason you're after him now.
Just saying.
There we go.
I totally forgot. Like this is a technical. This is because I'm such a professional. I forgot to mention, like, when we wear hats in the show, because of lighting, your eyes get like totally blocked out.
I'm gonna highlight my hair.
Yeah, and it was also just to make me, be less lonely with the hair thing.
Well, I
there,
like your
so.
stylist.
We have the same barber.
How we do? Gillette.
You don't use the one with the rollerblade thing? Have you tried that?
No, I tried them all.
Yeah.
Not really tried nair yet.
This is
I'm
very
working
interesting.
towards that.
Listening to men talking about how
About
they
hair
take care of-
parts?
Yes.
Hey,
that
and
have
you
no
have
hair?
no hair.
Yeah.
Have you ever used Kroger blades?
I have not.
Dude, I used Gillette forever. I bought Kroger blades once. I've used them ever since.
So I started using.
I swear they're made by Gillette.
I started using I started using a shaving cream.
Send Kroger's a bill, please.
And Gillette.
Yep.
And
Started
Gillette.
using a shaving cream. Not real sure because it's not foamy and fun like shaving used to be. So you got to kind of lather it up pretty good.
Yeah. All right.
I'm laughing.
Fun
inside.
stuff?
Oh my gosh.
Fun stuff you
Yes,
get to
I
learn
love
here
it. I
on
mean,
the show.
it's
an educational
guys,
show.
one woman,
It's an
and you're
educational
talking
show.
about
A little bit of
When you
Love
need
it.
to shave your head.
Right.
Now I know.
Real cream.
I've
You
been
know,
educated.
I
I'm
figure we're
educated.
20 minutes in. We should get to the topic. Why
Okay,
not?
There we go.
Well, one last
We're going
male
for the record,
grooming
right?
thing. Men never really lose their hair. It just migrates south as we get closer to
Yeah,
retirement.
but that is so true.
Okay, that's
You're right,
so
so
not a
true.
visual that I needed.
Yeah.
That's not a visual I needed.
The hair just gets lazy as it gets old. It's like, I'm not growing all the way up
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Grow
yeah.
all the way out of
I'll grow on this ear.
I'll stop at the shoulder blades.
Yeah.
That's where we'll pop.
The really
Where
lazy.
am I?
The
right
really
now?
lazy ones are like,
Where
I'm
am
just
I?
gonna hang out on your shoulders.
Grow on your toes.
Yeah.
I like the ear ones that come out
I
when you
think
get the
I'm.
long
I
ear
think I'm
ones.
getting. I think I'm.
And it happens like
stressed.
overnight. You're like, I go to bed, my ears are normal. There's no, you wake up, there's like, hey, what's up, bro?
I realized I was getting older. I went to the salon. I go to a salon, right? And she says, "What would you like me to do with your ear hair?" I was like, "Well, trim it, I guess." I didn't realize I was getting that.
Can you save it?
Mike, can you donate it?
My plan is this. Here's my
I think we're
plan.
gonna have to like take a commercial break.
No, this is cool because
Just so we can come back and get to the topic.
I'm gonna let the ear hair grow long and the eyebrow hair grow long. And
just
between
comb it
that,
over.
I'll have it all covered, man. That'll be really cool. That'd be
Do a
good.
big comb over from the ears up. An ear hair comb over.
What is happening?
He's working on his beard.
Yeah, right. A beard
Pull it
comb
over the
over.
top, yeah.
What is happening here, my friends?
Holy cow.
I actually went
Oh
skydiving
my
last
gosh.
week.
What is the
and
topic? We have a
beard-
topic, don't we?
The beard
Yeah.
came up and blinded
I think we have a
me all
topic.
down.
Dude, it really
Oh, it was glorious.
We were talking about something, weren't
Let's talk
we?
about guns.
We should talk about guns.
Wow. Or we can
Yeah.
keep talking about beauty products for men or ear hair. I think I prefer to talk about guns.
Or,
Judge Hair.
or rosewood oil in the beard.
Well, your beard is very nice.
It's glorious.
Yes, but let's go. Let's rock this thing out.
Should
you.
parents be required to keep firearms locked up if minors are present in the home?
Bad parents, yes.
Okay, so yes,
That's a good perspective.
so, yeah,
That was quick.
yes, yeah, actually.
Here we go.
All right, so we're gonna
Can
do.
we
We're gonna
get
do.
discounted Uber after this show?
Right,
That
yeah.
works.
I need to work on them as a sponsor.
Yeah, you need to work
You
on
should.
them.
Right?
Absolutely.
That'd be
Send
great.
them an invoice.
Right,
over.
just Uber should be a sponsor and just send Ubers for all the guests. That's the way it should work. So we're gonna do I love this, pun intended, bullet point thoughts on.
That was good. Did you practice that before the show, or did you?
I say bullet points like all the time.
Oh, you do.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, I know that because I watch the show all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Old fan. It goes way back.
Yeah, way back.
20
When
minutes in,
you
it
had
is
hair.
kicked.
When you had hair.
Yep. So we literally have 20 minutes in and we haven't even touched the subject. So
But the wine's gone.
the wine's gone.
Big Ripper.
I like to point out that we start drinking before the show. That should explain a lot of the behavior
On the way here.
at the opening of the show.
Wouldn't that be illegal?
Yeah, just a
Topic
little.
6.
Topic 6. Yes.
The show writes itself.
So, Melissa.
Why me? Why?
ladies first.
Whatever. Okay, good. Bring it.
Should the guns be locked up? Is that minors are in the house? You got little kiddos, guns in the house. Should they be locked up? Should that be a law? Should it be required? It's not just like, do I think they should be? Because there's a lot of things that you could think they should be in life, right? But this is like governmental type legislative situation, like the situation with the Santa Fe shooting, right? Kid gets his hands on parents' guns, right? That's where he got access to them, right? And that's not uncommon, right? That's how in the mass shooting or just
But
a
you
shooting
can't really
period.
legislate common sense,
Well,
right?
hang on,
turn.
yeah, hang
I'm
on,
sorry.
hang on. Yeah, I
We're
totally
coming back to
understand.
me.
That's
Bring it
all
all
right.
back
You're lucky you're
around.
over there 'cause
Y'all
you
talk
don't come
about
across
beauty
that
for about
table.
20 minutes, okay?
Yeah. So
My turn.
I'm just tossing out, the kind of the stuff to make you think, right? So should it be legislative?
Okay,
what's your take?
so I would like to say the Santa Fe shooting happened 13 miles from where we live. So my son, who graduated from high school this year, played sports with those kids. So I'm extremely passionate about this issue, men. I believe that guns should be required to be locked up. Now, saying that, I love guns. I'm all about guns and Bibles. Okay, that's me. Ask my husband, take me to a gun range, let me shoot. I go hunting, I do all that, and I love my Bible. So if they could come up with some type of safe that you just have a thumbprint, so it's right next to your bed, you can access it, I'm all about it. But if you have minor children in the home, guns should absolutely be locked up, in my opinion.
Okay. And just to
And I'm not passionate at all.
right, no,
I
I
knew
can
this was
tell.
coming, yeah.
To clarify, just to make sure,
Yes.
you're okay legislatively, like the law should be passed, so to speak, that guns have to be locked up.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to double check.
Yep.
Okay, Dave.
So what I see with that, and I'm so happy to be disagreeing with Melissa while I sit right next to her, because
Hey,
I feel like I'm next to a
I'm a life
bobcat.
coach. You're right.
That's right.
Okay.
He's gonna get home and his wife's gonna be like, "What happened to you?"
Don't come at me like a spider monkey, man. No, but this is the thing. I was one of the very unpopular voices out there to kind of introduce a parallel topic when this whole debate was happening, and still goes on about the whole texting and driving thing. It's never what you think it is. If it was about safety, we would be focused on a lot of other things with regard to driving an automobile than just texting while driving, which accounts for like 1% of all traffic fatalities. What the law that they pass gives you the right to do, or gives the police the right to do, is if they see you holding your phone, they can pull you over, right? So this is the Pandora's box with what you just advocated, where and again, these are bullet points, but I'm stating my point in disagreement with yours, is that how do you enforce that law? Once you legislate it, it has to be enforced. How is that enforced? In your home, right? Mm-hmm. Now, here's the reality, to bullet point this. If an incident happens and a parent was negligent with how they kept their firearms, because all those factors are going to be weighed, age of the children, what the access was, all that kind of stuff. And so there's going to be a point where the law has to weigh out what was reasonable, right? If a parent was negligent and practically handed the child a gun, and the child's teething and putting everything in his mouth, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty obvious that there's going to be charges filed against that parent without legislation about locking up your guns in the home. So, again, this is the thing where our natural emotions can go to, oh yeah, we got to keep the kids safe. We got to have no more school shootings. But what ends up happening, it doesn't affect the problem we're trying to solve, and we end up encroaching on freedom more and more and more.
Okay, James.
So I'm not a gun guy. I'm not opposed to them. I think they're cool as hell, but I know nothing about them. So I think to have them and own them and be a parent with them, you need to know your tool, right? You need to know how to break it down, clean it. You need to be able to teach that to your children, convey proper gun ownership, how to handle it. And I know none of that, so I don't, right? So I don't have a firearm. I think it comes down to responsible gun ownership, because there's always going to be that guy that says, okay, legislation says, okay, you got to keep it locked up, but this guy's not going to do it, and you know, he's right. So it just comes down to responsible gun ownership, right? You know, like wearing your safety glasses when you run the drill or something, right? I mean, you got to know how your gun works and how to convey that to your children, so they know it's a tool and not a toy that they can pick up and carry around and point at their sister or some shit.
Sure. So should it be locked up or no?
You know, I'm a realtor, right? So we said that when we started. So I go to a lot of homes and there's gun cabinets and all that stuff. Yes, I believe somebody that has multiple firearms and that maybe collects or hunts and has a passion for them. And I believe a lot of that stuff's generational, right? So if you have firearms, which obviously you do probably because you're in the military, and you've got children, so you're conveying that to your son. Hey, this is what guns are about. This is why we use them. So your son's got some common sense on how to use them. Some people have guns, but they're not conveying that common sense to their children. Right?
Or practicing for themselves.
Or practicing even for themselves, yeah.
So should they be locked up?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, well, I think again it goes back to how many do you have, right? If I've got
okay,
5
so is that a caveat for you?
Like
what? In other words, I have one pistol. Should it be locked up or no?
No, because that's your home protection.
All right,
right?
so now
maybe
I have
that's in a nightstand with a trigger lock or something. I don't know, because you need fast access, like we were talking pre-show.
Okay, so now I have 3 pistols. 2 should be locked up. So like you,
yeah,
that's
going
kind of
back
a
to maybe
angle.
Santa Fe, and then I didn't read all about that, but he got the weapons from his parents, right? You were saying. So should Dad have had all those in a gun safe where I can't go to Dad's house and pick up 22 firearms because Dad doesn't keep them locked up? You know? And maybe Dad is a responsible homeowner, but I'm a lunatic.
Okay.
I mean, not.
So it's
not really. You know,
To all my clients,
that's why I don't have
You
a firearm.
can't get a solid answer. You can't get a solid answer.
I'd like
well,
to take this
because
time
I'm
to.
not a gun guy, right?
I'd like to take
I
this
don't know
time to
much
point out
about
that the views of the guests do not express the views of the show, the producer, specifically.
I so want to talk again. So can we?
Yes.
Can we
So
keep going?
so kind of an interesting angle here. What I'm pulling out of your comment was I always like to get clarity before we come back.
Because I'm not sure.
I see what kind of coach she is. Come on, you can do another one. Let's go.
Yes.
Hey,
Right?
it's all about forward movement. Okay?
So it is for you. You're saying maybe extra guns have to be locked up. That would be okay law wise. You're okay with one maybe being available.
But I think it really goes back beyond the gun, and it's the parents teaching the kids properly. Because
I totally get that. I'm just trying to get like from a law standpoint. What do you? That's
the law is meant to be broken. You know, marijuana is legal or illegal, but a lot of people still use it, right? So if they say, hey, you got to lock up your gun, a lot of people still aren't going to lock up their guns, right?
Because what I'm trying to avoid is, well, if it was me, I think I should do this, or what I'm saying, like from a legislative standpoint, lock them up, don't lock them up.
Yes or no?
I think lock them up, because then if they're not locked up and a parent was negligent, sort of like David was saying, and the kid gets the gun, there's got to be some kind of defining line to determine whether the parent was negligent or not, right? The law says you should have handled your firearm this way, and you did not, and you gave the 9-year-old kid ease of access. There was something in the news a couple months back. The kid shot his sister because she took his game controller or something.
Well,
that kind of stuff shouldn't happen. But maybe
I'm kidding. Oh my God, that
Was it Call of Duty?
Yeah. Right. Depends on the game, right?
That's a whole nother subject.
No. So anyway, no, I'm sorry. That was a terrible
Subject 7.
Subject 7.
So okay. So I want to kind of get a feel for it there. I'm trying to pin you down to a yes or no kind of a
one of those
thought.
kind of things you can kind of get easily, but you don't. It's almost like being a parent, right? Anybody can be a parent without a license, right? No training, nothing. We've got some bad parents out there.
You're hitting on it now.
I am really starting to sweat.
Spencer.
Can we turn the air down in here?
Let me try this. Let me try one stab at a
Or
question.
glisten.
Okay?
Should I say glisten?
It's a voter referendum. There's a vote, and there's a referendum being put before the residents of Harris County.
Lock them up or not? I'd say yes. I'd vote
Do
yes.
you support legislation that would allow police to enforce that law? That parents have to keep their guns locked up?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Spence.
perfect.
No.
You're welcome.
You know what? You might want to be a life coach.
So no.
Okay.
So So, very good. So, retired military. So, I'm obviously, and a lot of people sit there and go, well, you're retired military, so you're obviously a gun nut. Not necessarily, or maybe
I've
a gun
known
owner or whatever.
people that are not big gun fans.
So you've got to really look at, in my opinion, you've got to look at what you can legislate and what are you trying to legislate. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to legislate something that is a knee-jerk reaction to a lot of things. And so, for instance, if we're going to go down the road of saying that guns must be locked up, and I'm going to tell you what you have to do in your house, well, then I'm going to also start a bill, and I'm going to write it, and I'm going to tell you that the American Medical Association tells you shouldn't eat after 8 o'clock at night because that is all stuff that's going to go to you and store fat. So therefore, I'm going to pass a law that says, you know what, in order to bring down the risk of obesity and cancer, well, then I'm now going to legislate that you lock your refrigerator between the hours of 8 p.m. and 06. And we're going to require
manufacturers to make them to where they automatically lock.
And I want to make them automatically lock. And so what you're really trying to do is you're trying to take away. What you're trying to take away is parental responsibility for what they teach. Most gun owners I know, they keep a lot of their long rifles and pistols in a safe, or they keep them up in the closet. They keep them away from their children. They're responsible gun owners, and that's what you really got to teach is responsibility. Are things going to happen? Yes. Is it acceptable? No. But in most cases where for instance, the child getting in touch with a gun and killing their sibling, I can almost promise you that the charges were brought against the parents for that act and for that child to be able to do it. It's already enforceable. They're already looking at negligent homicide. Yeah. They're already going to enforce that. But what you really got to understand is that, are you willing for the police to come to your house because I told them that Joe Orsak does not maintain his guns in a safe, and for them to come to a search warrant and to enforce that law and come in your house to see if indeed your guns are secured? It's really asking the government to come into your house, and it's really putting the government in charge of what should be your personal responsibility.
All right.
Okay, so I have to say something. So I had to go first, right? So I was very clear and direct. I answered your question quickly. Okay, so everybody else gave like these long descriptions. I didn't give a chance.
Let's go backwards.
No, I didn't get a chance to do that. So there are so many things I want to say, and I was like looking at him. Give me a notepad so I can write it down. But I believe so.
Have fun. You have the floor.
Okay, so this is the deal. I'm thinking,
and now on to
we'll be
back after a word from our sponsor.
You know what? Trust me, I can. No, I'm good. I can work a room. I'll have you all in my hands in a minute. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm a mom, right? So I'm talking.
Topic 7.
Right here, me talking. I got the platform.
Yes, ma'am.
No, so I'm a mom. I have 3 children. Okay, so like I said, I'm all about guns. I love guns. I want to get my own right to carry, right? I believe in having the ability to protect myself 100%.
Absolutely.
And that's why I love America. Okay? But I believe that there are not how can you, like you were saying, you brought up such a great
I always do. No, I'm just kidding.
You did. You brought up a great point is, okay, are the parents responsible? And then you brought up a great point is, how do we monitor that? Okay, so I simply just answered your question because I was obedient. I was obedient and I answered.
Like
there's so
woman?
many. Okay,
Oh my goodness.
Hey, you know what? You know what? And I'll say this.
Go ahead, hit me.
Hey, no, you know what? Hey,
And I got to sit in this chair between this.
I'm just really giving David a hard time because she'll just smack him.
No, I'm just gonna say this because you know what? I want every woman to hear this. I'm talking. So I'm gonna say this. You know what? If you have a godly man that you're married to, I will submit, no problem. And I praise God for
submit him with a chokehold usually.
Joe? There's not enough room for me to back up, man.
Straight put him on the floor.
We're talking about guns, right?
Episode 9, workplace
She prefers an arm bar if she can get it.
So then you brought up a great point. I'm bringing this back around because obviously I'm the only one that's really in charge here.
Yes, I know.
So I'm bringing up another point is that how do you monitor that? How do you, okay, so you asked me, should it be legislated?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then there are so many topics to that. How do you legislate that? How do you monitor that?
Right.
Okay, am I going to say the government's allowed to come into my house and monitor? Are all your guns safe? Well, you know what? We're already being watched. constantly.
Sure.
Okay? I mean, I look up on Facebook and they
Voluntarily.
know.
You got Alexa. You're being.
Oh
They're
my
listening.
gosh,
Yeah,
yes.
right.
That freaked me out one day. It was like, "Hi, Melissa." I was like, "Who was that?" Yeah, and so anyway, you so want to talk, and
I
I'm just
do.
going to
I
keep
do.
talking.
Let's keep going.
But I believe in teaching people responsibility with their guns.
Yes.
But I'm sorry, there are parents out there, and I'm going to say this in all respect, that shouldn't be parents.
Oh, absolutely.
So the
Absolutely.
responsibility part's the part
And so-
missing.
Exactly. So there are gun owners
Uh-huh.
out there that should not be gun owners.
That is correct.
So, okay, so then we take that. We cannot judge that.
But you're going to have to.
Right, but legally we can't judge that, because if I'm going to have a kid and I'm not fit to be a mom, I can still have a kid.
You can, but for the guns, what you're going to now do is you're going to actually legislate who can own a gun and how they can own it, because what you're asking them to do is you're asking them to legislate something that happens inside the home. And so you can't legislate good or bad parenting. If you're a bad parent, you're going to suffer the consequences of being a bad parent through your choices. So you guys are great parents. I'm 100% positive you guys
My
are great
kids are
parents.
I dare you to say she's not
no.
a great parent. I dare you.
No, you guys already stirred the kitten. So I'm like, her and I are the same.
Yeah.
But I would say you're great parents and gun owners, and you're probably responsible gun owners. You probably keep your guns in a place that is safe for your children and is away from them being able to get into a dangerous situation.
Actually, can I jump in real
Unfortunately,
quick?
go ahead.
I'm going to say this real quick. So all my children are adults.
Mhm.
So I have 18 and older.
Mhm.
I would not allow a gun in my home.
Really?
Yep, I would not.
Prior to 18.
So, but-
Prior to my kids being,
Okay,
yeah.
So not having a gun in your home, you're kind of exempt from the law now.
Right, but
But
that's
for
what I'm
gun
saying. That's how
owners-
passionately I feel.
Sure. But
It needs to be
so,
safe.
So if you're a gun owner, primarily if you have a gun and it's for home defense, what you've got to look at is you've got to look at the person behind the gun. You got sports guns, you got long rifles, you got shotguns for
Hunting,
skeet shooting,
all
for
that.
hunting, and then a lot of people have handguns for personal protection. And so it's a matter of what is the choice of weapon or what is the purpose of the weapon. If you have a weapon for home defense and you require me by law to have the gun with the magazine out in a case, thumbprint identified, which they do have those cases where you can do a thumbprint.
Oh.
And require me to hold it 6 feet above the ground, out of children's reach, in the closet, and an intruder comes in, the best thing I can do is throw my shoes at them.
Yell
Because
ugly
there's no
words
way
at
for
'em.
me to, that weapon
that
now of
person.
choice is no
But when you
longer
put it
affecting
like
home
that,
defense
that
system.
changes my position.
Stop it.
But
Well,
it-
that-
so,
but that's
Quit being
that's
mean.
key.
Yeah.
So, because one of the great moments we've had in season 1 was when people announced that. So this is
Thank
cool.
you for the wine.
This is what we do on the show is by seeking first to understand. She looked right at you and said you have changed her position. So how did that? Where are you now?
Okay, so by saying it that way, right? So yeah, dude, you know what? I'm going to talk to you about becoming a life
They don't
coach,
need
and
me.
then you can work for me. Anyway,
fired.
The more I get to be quiet, the more I get to drink. So
no,
I'm
so
good.
well, apparently this
good.
guy wants to be quiet because he's like, I don't know what I feel,
I
but
showed up for the wine and the pizza. I didn't even know he did a show. Really.
I was promised pizza.
he's like, wait a minute, this is on live.
right.
But go ahead.
So no, so
I was just set up the room so I could
what
drink
you
wine.
said, what you said was so perfectly said
Yeah,
and so
that's very well.
articulate and was just right on. Okay, so my perspective, right? I'm a mom, I'm a mother, I'm a former women's pastor.
Yeah.
Okay, so my whole thing is I want to protect these kids from going, what's that? And
Oh, who does?
That
Right.
goes back to the responsibility. Though.
right,
So,
okay, so how do we do that?
So
How do
that's-
we implement that?
This
I
is
have
sort of
something
my
I'm going to
take
say
on
to
it.
that, but I have a feeling. No.
I just think that you said it really well, and
As a former moderator on the show,
Well, and I do.
you are an
He's the
interrupter.
only. He's the
Are
only
you a
person that's
moderator
politely-
or an interrupter?
politely-
So I do.
He's
I
been
do
the
want
only
to.
person,
So
yeah.
we talk about Santa Fe. and We talk
So
about.
kind of wrap
sports
up the thought. We've got to go to commercial break.
Let's go to
We're gonna have
We'll talk about Santa Fe.
we have some comments to address in the comment feed.
You're fun.
And I can tell you guys already the show's
We're
probably gonna go
still
long.
friends.
They always
We're
do. It's all right. So
It's not all right. I've got another engagement, Joe. What the hell? You said we'd be done at 7.
All right. He made us
Well,
get up
he's
later in the
about
show.
to be
It's
like
all right.
the most
all
bachelor
right.
man in Houston or something. I don't
So,
know.
so we have a commercial break. We're going to go to commercial break. I think it's the body mechanics. Sure. That sounds good. When we come back from the commercial break, we are going to have our production crew's favorite comments picked out. So you'll get to see what my daughter thinks of your thoughts. So whether they make the cut or not. So if you didn't make the cut, that's probably because she didn't like you. So
I think we need to do an instant poll. Should Joe grow his hair out again?
no, you don't want to see that.
Do we continue the conversation while the break is on?
Well, we've got a minute, so
Yeah, it's pretty short.
yeah,
I can talk fast.
But don't use any of the juice.
Oh, trust me, I'll
topics.
save it. I'll save it.
Yeah, wait.
So we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back from commercial break. We're gonna get your comments. Stick around, and this is a word from our sponsor up in Longview, Texas, the Body Mechanics.
Do you suffer from chronic back pain? There is a solution to the suffering. The Body Mechanics, an orthopedic and medical massage focused practice that specializes in helping clients work through and overcome musculoskeletal injuries and chronic pain. By applying our science-based concepts through the art of massage therapy techniques, we can help you eliminate that pain. At the Body Mechanics, we take it as our responsibility to provide our clients with the highest level of care. We take time to get to know you, your history, and your obstacles, and most importantly, your wellness goals. We help you meet your goals through skillfully applied advanced massage therapy techniques and recommending self-care routines to improve overall well-being. Come in today and let the Body Mechanics apply our years of training and expertise to soothe away your aches. Mention this ad and receive our functional movement assessment for free, a $35 savings.
All right, we're back.
We're back. Shoot, that
See,
wasn't
we're
long enough.
We're already talking what kind of guns we have and all this kind of stuff here.
That was the 30-second commercial. I forgot.
Yeah.
Great moderator.
All right, so
I'm not moderating.
what's the subject at hand here, guys? What are your thoughts? We're going to put some comments up here, but we're talking about if you have guns in the house with minors, should they be locked up? Should we pass legislation to require that? Would that be a solution for the mass shootings? Would that be a solution for Santa Fe and Parkland and all these type of places? Is that going to take care of that issue? If it's really about safety, will it accomplish the job? What are your thoughts? Chime in. Do we have comments? Yeah, okay. I didn't see comments, so I was stalling while I was doing all that talking. And
I was hoping they wouldn't. So we could keep
okay, here we
talking,
go.
Comments.
All right, so Jordan Anderson. Jordan, as a regular commenter up in Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota. And always has some good points. We disagree on all kinds of stuff, but he always has good salient thoughts.
Yep.
So thanks for tuning in, Jordan. Jordan said, I think you take responsibility regardless of how your firearm is stored. The problem with making it law, I see, is this. If it is something enforced and open to inspection, I find that to be a huge infringement on privacy.
That's the enforcement piece.
Yep.
Right.
So then his second part of that was, if it is just something that someone can be fined with after an incident, then I suppose it's just incentive to keep your firearms better kept
That's a
from
good
young
point.
hands.
That's a good point. Good job.
Overall, I think
Good
it
job.
would really just depend on how that would be handled. Actually, Jordan kind of stole a little bit of my thunder I was going to toss out to you guys.
That was good.
Was if the law, the enforcement wasn't about encroachment or privacy coming into your home, but was merely about enforcement after the fact. Like you have to be able to demonstrate. If the kid got his hands on the gun, then obviously it wasn't locked up. See what I'm saying?
Or was it?
Yeah.
But you'd have to be able to demonstrate that you had taken that precaution.
So I think, and Justin kind of hits it right, and I guess the comment, suppose it's just incentive to keep your firearms better kept from young hands. That's a great question. It's a great comment, and it's really an incentive. And so, are we legislating incentives now?
Don't we already sort of have that?
We already have it, and like we kind of talked about earlier, if there's an incident in a home and a child takes a gun and shoots the neighbor or shoots a kid or shoots themselves, I can almost guarantee you that the parents are going to be brought up on a negligent homicide or negligent manslaughter at worst case, and they'll be held accountable for it. It's really your environment. If you're a gun owner, you're a responsible gun owner, or if you've been around guns for a while, then generally you're going to be taught gun safety, gun respect, the whole 9 yards. I mean, even drug dealers, you don't hear about drug dealers' kids shooting each other accidentally because they're around guns all the time. They understand guns, they understand the power behind them. I think if you really look at legislating stuff on the inside of the home, you've got to be, it's a very slippery slope because you have to enforce it. And so are we writing the law just to enforce it to add on after an event, after a tragic event? So we can sit there and go, okay, well, your 4-year-old just killed your 2-year-old. And so now we're going to give you negligent homicide, and oh, by the way, it wasn't locked. So now I'm going to just start. I'm going to start dogpiling.
You
the
should
charge.
not have had me gone first.
But it didn't solve. But it didn't solve anything.
I could have.
You didn't solve anything.
Right.
What you did is you sat there and you got down at the end of the band.
Sorry.
You put a band-aid.
It is
on
my fault.
Joe.
But you put a band-aid on a corpse.
Been married for 20 years, so
right.
I have this.
So I agree with you.
Feel good.
No, I agree with you. And so my statement, I want to. So I got to hear Thank you, Joe.
I was wrong.
I forgive you.
It's my fault.
I forgive you. I forgive you. I do.
See, this is what 20 years of marriage looks like.
No, I understand. This is what conflict resolution is.
This is 25.
Yeah. So okay. So I really want to say this. I do not believe that government has the right to come in my home and do all of that. I am all about small government.
Because then they're going to find everything else.
Okay, yeah, but I've got.
Oh, you got some weed here, James.
Well,
what's this about?
You mentioned marijuana, not us.
Grow operation.
Not
That's one of
us,
the points I was
but
going to make. That's exactly right.
We'll find out that he's got a whole garden. But anyway, you know,
And you've got Dawson Creek on.
And a pit bull.
Tell us about that.
or the Real Housewives of Orange County or something. You know, I mean.
Dawson
But
Creek
anyway,
from the 80s.
but no. Okay, can we stay on track, boys? On track. Here we go. Let's go back. Okay, now I totally forgot my point. See?
Oh, no.
No, it's coming back
I
to
feel
me.
her pain. I understand
No,
this.
no.
Squirrel.
Yeah, it is total squirrel.
I'm extra bad today. I have to apologize.
Oh my gosh.
So-
So, help me, women. Help me out here. So what I'm saying is, I don't believe that the government has a right to come in my house and check to see if I'm doing things right. So, the question you asked. Okay, so I answered it based on that question, not on all these other branches, in which I love this conversation.
And that's kind of the
and
idea.
I love it. So I feel like I need to justify a little bit my stance.
Okay, so that's all right. So that, I mean, look, that's these topics are chosen like this for a reason, right? Because this is what happens. They splinter out.
They do.
People on social
and
media
then you add
in the world.
wine to it.
So
and
here's
it's great.
so and I get completely what you're saying, but what part of the problem of a new law.
I wasn't finished, but go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't finished.
Wrap up.
So my wrap up, the whole thing is, I believe everything starts in the home.
Absolutely.
Everything starts in the home.
Not for homeless people.
Leave it to Hargrove, man. I'm telling you.
Which, dude, you totally missed a great
What?
plug.
Are we
Not for homeless
doing?
people. I can help you. If you're
Get him
homeless,
more
I can help
wine.
you sell a
Get
home.
him more wine,
James
please.
Hargrove,
Somebody-
Filter to the
wait,
homeless.
get him more wine.
That's what you.
So
Not the
honestly,
stars, but the
seriously,
homeless.
I'm super passionate about this because
Right.
as a crisis coach, I work with people that have PTSD. I work with people in crisis. I have a client whose husband committed suicide after 43 years of marriage. I mean, I'm passionate about this, but everything starts in the home. We can't go into people's homes and monitor them.
No.
Okay, so maybe I should not have stood so firm on being locked up. Because how do you monitor that? Well, you just asked a question and this branching out.
But that's the show.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the idea.
I just got that
And
out. I
so-
feel a lot better now.
He's been dying to respond.
Well, no, to kind of add into that though, that and you're right, it all begins within the home.
It does.
And so part of the problem, and there's for every time we legislate something new, there's always second, third order effects. And so what you've done now is you've instituted a law, and a lot of people can look at that and go, well, I think it's a good thing to do right now. But what you've done is you've instituted.
They don't realize
you've instituted something.
Pandora's
You've
box, so to
instituted
speak.
something that's enforceable. Okay, so now and a lot of police officers will operate off of Fourth Amendment type stuff, sort of search and seizure, and so they can pull you over for a variety of reasons under the Fourth Amendment for search and seizure, and so. If they feel that there is a violation going on in the home, if somebody calls and says Joe Orsack doesn't keep his guns locked up, and they want to get in your house for another reason, because maybe you're on track for something else, they have a right to go into your home now because you're violating the law. And under the Fourth Amendment, they're allowed to actually go into your home and investigate whether you truly keep those guns locked or unlocked. Now, regardless of what the real reason they want to go in there is, you've given them that permission to get in because it's a law now and it's enforceable. And what we've done is we're legislating
very
what's inside
articulate.
we're legislating what's inside the house.
You
So we
are
got to be
very
real careful.
I had
Yes,
to invite
you're
somebody
right.
on.
Oh, thanks.
So we,
Thanks for that,
I always get kind of skittish when we start talking about stuff.
I know.
No,
It's
and
terrible.
I love that. You're so articulate. I think
Alcia
you
Jean
need-
has a great comment. I wanna
Okay,
throw in
let's
some
go.
more.
Yeah,
because
I'm
stuff
sure
in the mix
I'm going to
here.
be thrown under the bus the entire time, but I'm good with it.
Not at
Bring
all.
it.
Not at all.
You made the point that
Yeah,
needs to be. You were the counter side of the argument, which
Absolutely.
you need to
Of course, because
Absolutely.
it always comes back to me. Go on.
be. You're seeing
I'll
the
see
theme,
it.
right?
Yes, dear.
And it's all about who? Okay, he knows.
You
They're gonna
are-
be fine.
Yeah, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine.
Yep.
Alcia Jean
Yeah.
said
Yes.
parents can teach their own
This
kids
is a great scenario, by the way.
how to properly respect a gun, but if their kids have friends over, when I taught science, one of my students showed up to school after a week or so with scabs from splintered TV glass
Oh.
and and cabinet wood all over his head and face, missing hair, and a lengthy healing place with stitches. He was lucky. His parents were the gun owners, and he knew how to clean, shoot, and respect, etc. He was accidentally shot by his best friend who was visiting and found the gun in the closet during hide and seek. Seventh graders.
So I want to comment on this. if I can.
Sure, James.
Oh, wait, they're not done. She's not done.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the second part of the comment.
That's a woman. Let her talk.
Second part of the comment. So even though I wish my students' parents would have locked their guns up,
For you women.
I don't think having a law would have helped. It is just up to parents and individuals to be responsible.
So now this
That's
is a
awesome.
great scenario because this is actually a very real scenario, and that is one of the things we talked about security. Now in this situation in particular, I can almost guarantee you if that was my child, and my child went to your house and played hide and seek, and they're in 7th grade, and they grabbed the gun and it discharged and shot somebody, pretty much positive there's a lawyer going to be involved at some point. That's part of gun ownership responsibility. It's what we talk about because that is the part of the legislation that
Every bullet has a lawsuit on it.
Every bullet has a lawsuit on it. So I don't know
Lawyer
what happened in
attached,
this. I don't know what happened in this situation, but it goes back to the how are you keeping your weapons? And because if you have a weapon in the home, you're responsible financially, legally, the whole nine. You're
It's a
responsible for that.
responsibility, yeah.
You're responsible.
How do
for
we
everything.
regulate responsibility though? Because
You don't.
for me, real simple,
You
he's
don't.
not a gun owner. Like Grandpa was a hunter. He taught Dad how to hunt and handle guns. Dad taught the son. The son teaches his son, and everybody knows about guns in the family. And they're
Except for the
responsible
friends you
for
brought
it.
over.
Except for the friend you brought over.
Mhm.
So how do you regulate responsibility? Because a
Yeah,
lot
but-
of people own it, and that's why I don't have a gun. Right? My dad wasn't a hunter.
Right.
He was a guitar player. Now I'm a guitar player.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah, but everybody's so right. So I'll just say this. So you have a bunch of kids over for a pool party.
So everything.
A
should be
kid,
locked up.
no. So a kid slips, hits his head on your pool. The parents sue you for negligence because you weren't. So I mean, that's just you're
Should have a lifeguard.
Yeah, at a pool party in your backyard.
Should have had a lifeguard.
So
That's
it was
a
an
new law.
accident, right?
No, but I mean, but that's where you go with
Right.
it.
You're right.
Where was the
You are
parents?
totally
Where was
right.
the parents? You're trying to.
You
we
can't-
get
you can't-
back into legislating
Yeah,
responsibility.
exactly. You can't
so that we
legislate
can say,
responsibility.
Damn.
Okay, so should I retract my statement?
No, not at all.
You know, look.
I think I need more wine, Joe.
So listen.
Give her the box and a straw.
The point of the here, hold your mouth open.
I was promised a straw.
Just want to point that out.
All right. We're gonna
Help
give,
us out,
we're gonna
Joe.
give David the
No,
floor
I think
here.
this is the whole point of the show because
Yes.
Yeah,
there's a
absolutely.
lot of things that you've said
Thank
that
you,
made sense.
Joe.
Like even the previous comment was like, you know what? That's a really good example.
Listen.
Yes.
Because that's a realistic example.
And
Listen.
she went the
You
other
have
way.
great viewers,
Like you would have
by the way.
thought. I thought she was going
Absolutely.
one
You have
direction.
great
She went
viewers.
She
somewhere
went the
else.
other direction.
She did.
so
But she was
listen.
awesome.
I will say that,
Or
that
is.
the mission of the show. This show is one of the great shows wherein through discussion people are changing their viewpoint, right? And that is the point of the show. The point of the show is to say, look, if we accept the idea that we can talk about religion, we can talk about politics, we can talk about the most important subjects when we're out with friends, when we're at work, whatever else,
if we just respect each other, because
I
what
love
happens is an amazing thing.
I love
because
it.
This happens.
You rock.
A while ago, she's gonna hit me with a bottle. Now I'm I'm on the good list now.
No, see, no.
No, I mean, but that's
It's
kind of
so
what
true.
that's
That's
kind of
the
what's
point
missing
of
in
the
the world
show.
right now.
But
is
I'm
that-
not mad.
No,
I'm not.
no.
Nobody's mad.
Of course
and
not.
I'm learning.
Yeah, but that,
And I
but
love
that's
it.
kind of what's missing from
That's
the world
the
right
point.
now. Is that
Exactly.
civility
Mission of the show.
That's the mission of the show.
Which
That's
is
the
which
mission
is
of the show.
really
You're brilliant,
kinda cool,
Joe.
so.
You're brilliant. Even though you're bald, you're brilliant.
Bald
But
is
you know what?
brilliant.
No.
I think it's because
Hey,
he's bald. He's
There we
brilliant.
go. Right.
I'm
take
just-
it either way. I don't
I'm
care.
just throwing back Gillette and all the balm
That's what
and
she
beauty products y'all talked about before. Like 30 minutes of beauty products.
We,
All right,
didn't,
so-
we didn't talk about pomade at
So
all.
David had a point that he was patiently waiting
Oh,
to
yes.
make.
I'm
Do
surprised
you
you
have
were
any
that
more
patient.
comments over
As
there?
patiently as I can
Actually,
ever
I'm
be.
proud of you.
Thank you.
Yemeni was making a comment that if I grew my hair out, I couldn't go as Mr. Clean to the Halloween party anymore. So
I would
Yeah,
probably
well-
think Hulk Hogan with the
that was
the
literally
horseshoe long hair. Maybe.
literally the best Halloween outfit with the least amount of work
I
ever
disagree.
required.
I disagree. I think it was The Walking Dead.
Oh well, now I said with the,
I like that
listen,
one. That was
the-
pretty
the-
cool. You actually would kind of like rock the Walking
Carol,
Dead.
yeah, she
oh,
was-
yeah,
He's
He's
she
still
was a
being
great
patient.
Carol.
I just want to
Yes.
point out that.
But I was
we
going
are
to say
proud
with
of
the
you.
least amount of
We are
effort,
proud of
because
you.
all I
It's a lot
did
of
was
years
throw
of
in my
therapy.
tool
You're-
belt and some
yeah,
cleaning
okay.
stuff,
Yeah.
and I was Mr. Clean.
Your wife
So-
should be proud of you.
All right,
now.
Nicole Thalji has a comment. We're going to go to, but we're going to let Dave say his.
No. Go to Nicole first, by all means.
Okay. Well, Nicole Thalji is making
that's
a
great-
comment,
she's-
and this is one of our awesome sponsors that I mentioned earlier at
Yeah,
the beginning of the
she
show.
rocks.
So she is a fan. She tunes in. She watches the show. So she said, if your 17-year-old child kills someone driving the car, the parent is not directly responsible. Wonder how that is handled.
I think I disagree with that because the parent's carrying the insurance. The parent's going to get drug into that lawsuit, right?
Well, the parent's carrying the insurance, but they're not responsible.
If the
for
parent wasn't in the
It doesn't
car-
go on their driving record.
If the parent wasn't in the car, how are they responsible?
Because
So-
the child's a minor.
So there's been a few. There's been.
I
Let
know.
me
Yeah.
address this. There's
Right.
been a few things that have come up with this, and
That
like
was
one
a
of the
great
first points you made
Point.
that I want to address with that is as a father to a daughter who's coming up on her 11th birthday, I can tell you that
I thought you
that
were much older than that.
one of I am much older than that. That's the thing.
I actually
I
thought
started
the same
way
thing.
late.
I'm like, whoa.
Hey, I thought I looked pretty
I've got
good
a
for 21.
7-year-old.
All of that,
Yeah,
all of the
yeah.
products
It's all
you're
those years
using,
doing drugs that did this to me. You
It's all
know.
the products you're using are not working.
No,
Your products aren't
the-
working.
Products are
the
working.
best thing because you mentioned a case where the boy shot his sister over a argument over a game.
Right.
Well, here's the thing that happens, and this happens all the time, because we hear about the incidents when the kid goes and gets his parents' gun
It's
and
a
shoots up the
tragedy.
school. It's
You're
a
the
tragedy,
tragedy.
right?
Right.
What we don't hear about is the 2 million times a year that law-abiding citizens use a gun to stop crime and save a life.
That's
True.
right.
We don't hear about that.
No.
You
Because
don't
everybody-
hear about the number of people whose lives were saved because an armed citizen was at that location,
And why is
what
that,
could have
though?
been a mass shooting
Oh,
of
gosh,
12 people
that's
was only 2.
segment 8.
Right? That's a different thing. But here's my point with
Like
with
11
the
segments.
responsibility.
11.
I have already taken my daughter to the gun range.
Right.
And you want to teach a child respect?
Mhm.
Let them fire one. Show them
But
what
you're
the
a good
power is.
parent.
Well, hold on a minute. So this ties back to because you know how it always comes back to these. That's just me. I'm not less of a process guy. I'm more of the broad brush principle guy, right? And that's what our whole system of government was founded upon, was the idea of self-government. And what we relied upon for self-government was a religious and moral people, as that quote from John Adams that we go to time and time again.
I love that.
There is nothing you can do. There is no law that can ever be made that will make a parent be responsible, that will make a
No.
people be
Yeah.
moral.
Right.
It won't
You're totally
happen.
right.
As it says in Romans,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing
Oh,
the law
let's go
can
there.
do,
Let's go.
the only thing the law can do is reveal and punish sin. That's all it can do. It will save nobody, right?
Right.
So the point is that to have a responsible citizenry, we've got to start looking at how we live individually.
So,
It starts with what you do, the person you are in the mirror, right?
so since we don't have responsible citizenry
good.
across the board, do we have powers that be pushing legislation to control guns
That's
shut everybody down?
ultimately-
And as a
no.
non-gun guy, I mean,
No, that's
you know,
perfect.
I see it
Great point.
That
happening.
is the absolute question.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you have one of two choices
That's a
to
great
make.
point.
You can put your trust
Listen to
in
Rage Against the
God,
Machine on
or
that?
you can put your trust in man.
Say that again. Say it
I'm
again.
sorry, I mean,
No,
didn't
I know.
listen.
He's
Say it
being
again.
bad today.
No,
I
you
literally
know
didn't
what?
say anything that time. It was
Wherever
just-
we are on the
Truth
road,
is about to be spoken right now. Say it
Where,
again.
wherever we are on the road,
Mhm.
okay? Yes, things have happened. We have all kinds of problems in society.
Mm-hmm.
You still are faced with the question of what do we do about it? And you have one of two choices ultimately. You can put your trust in God or put your trust in man. Every society that has put its trust in man to make laws, again, what is the law going to do for you? It's only going to punish you, or it'll lead to your death. You'll be
Right.
incarcerated or killed.
Right.
That's what the law will do for you. But if we base our society, as our founders did, on a religious and moral founding, where we encourage morality, not tell people how to worship, but encourage the doctrines taught by Jesus Christ as advocated by our founders, now we have a more responsible citizenry.
When did we get away from that? The 50s?
I'd
Oh
say
my gosh, we are
it's
so
always. Well,
dissecting.
let me answer that, and then I'll
it's
stop.
the
'cause
boiling pot. It's
my-
the boiling
Oh my
pot.
gosh.
My
It's-
answers are long.
By the way,
I make
I
them
like
count,
you
right?
again now.
That's,
I like
that's
you
actually a
again.
good subject.
I like
That's
you
right.
again.
When did
What
we-
what
Did
happens
you hear
is
that? I
it's
like you again.
it's always a
I
process.
like you again.
Right?
No, but that's a great question.
It's always a process. We get to this point by one compromise at a time, one small step. It's never a great big thing, right?
Right.
But if you wanted to point to one single thing, 1960, whatever it was, when the humanists used the religious argument to take, any kind of reference to God out of the schools.
Right.
I don't advocate. I don't want the school telling my child how to pray, but having a time of prayer
Sure.
and making that prayer time, voluntary and
Get
participation.
ready.
All about it. We need to encourage that. Well, I'm old enough that I can remember the times that, like, going to and from football games on the football team.
Mhm.
I remember because I didn't ride the bus otherwise, but I did. I rode the city buses and the district buses all over the greater Houston area, right?
Right.
And I remember for a long time there was a sign. This was in the 80s. There was a sign at the front of the bus, right? The golden rule: do unto others as you have them do unto you. Now, it didn't say Jesus,
Right.
but that's what he taught,
Sure.
right? That would not be allowed today. You can't even go into a school library and read a Bible if you want to.
Right.
It's not allowed because of this false notion of separation of church and state. But and there was a great meme, and I know Mame.
Is
The
it
French
mame?
word-
Is it mame or meme?
It's meme.
It's a French word,
But the-
mame, which means cute picture.
Well,
I
it's
had-
French,
No,
so
that's
it's
totally a lie.
It's French, so it means quit.
I love if you ever get somebody that jacks with you, like I say mame, and they're like, oh, it's meme. And I go, well,
It's
actually,
Mame, technically.
actually, it's mame,
Yeah.
which is French for cute picture. And then they go, really? And I go, no.
I just wanted to shut you up.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like you're being a retard. Stop that. It's just goofy.
No, there was a meme that talked about how we stopped teaching our kids about biblical principles and moral foundations early, and then when they end up in prison, now we start hoping for them their Bible grounding to bring about their recuperation and.
Okay, so how do you
A
bring
little
so
too
everything
late,
you
right.
just said? I love. Obviously, I'm a former pastor. I'm a Christian life coach. I mean, I'm all about guns and Bibles. Right? I said it.
Woo!
Yeah, let's
America.
go.
Visit her at gunsandbibles.com.
Yep.
If you
No.
add
Hey,
bacon to
I'm
that,
gonna get that. I'm gonna get that
You should
domain.
totally get that.
I am.
gunsandbibles.com.
I bet it's already going.
Get that-
I'm about to-
Yeah, it's
Um,
gone.
But you know what though? So what you said exactly. So what is our country founded on? In God we trust.
Right.
It's
Right.
on every dollar we have. Okay, so right now we have just taken a topic on guns.
That's how it always happens.
We've taken a topic on guns, which is a massive topic right now because just 2 weeks ago was it that there was a massive shooting in Santa Fe High School.
Yep.
Is it
Okay,
that recent already?
lives were changed in seconds.
It's been within weeks.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
very recent.
so well for us it's a blur because it's affected our community
Yeah,
unbelievable.
it's been within weeks. Yeah.
Right,
It's very,
and
very
like I
recent.
said, we're 13 miles from the shooting. So everything you said, I stand on. So then how do we apply that? How do we change it? How do we help people to move forward to that? How do we implement that?
So I would tell you that, and this is probably a completely different Wine No Wine show about school shootings, because it is something that's a little bit different. We didn't have them. I'm 49. We didn't have them back in my day.
I'm 48. We used to kick each other's ass.
But one of the things that with school shootings is that you've really kind of promoted the shooter to a different level of societal relevance, to that you know who these soldiers or these shooters are.
Yeah, I've stopped referring to the names.
Yeah, but the kids know who these names are now, and so evil does what evil does. And so if you take away guns, you can eliminate every gun. You can turn every gun in the world.
Thinkable moment.
You will
on
that. Still have school violence.
So
I have to make a point.
I can tell you that in
the host wants to talk.
In Afghanistan, you can, if you want to see ingenuity in action, go to Afghanistan. One of the biggest killers of American soldiers was
improvised
IEDs.
Explosive device,
and
IEDs.
most typically they're made out of pressure cookers, and you know how they're set off? Saw blades.
Saw blades.
Saw blades. That's how they're set off.
Wow.
They put a saw blade, another saw blade. They put a piece in the middle, and then they put the connection to a pressure cooker. It's a pot that
just
you
like they used the
in.
Boston Marathon.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's where it came from. And they hook it all up. And when you roll over that, they bury it just a little bit in the ground. And when saw blade connects saw blade, you close the connection. It's ingenuity. That's how it happens. So if you take away guns, you can completely eliminate guns in the United States. Violence will still occur.
You're totally
right.
So listen,
you go to Europe. They took away a lot of guns, right? What did you start seeing about a year ago that really started happening?
Knife attacks.
I do want to answer
cars.
Knife attacks. What happened after knife attacks?
I do want to answer a question.
You saw truck attacks.
I retract my statement from the beginning.
No. Your question.
Don't.
No. Your question. Your
Yes.
question. Because she said, how do we do that? How do we get
Implement
there?
it. So we can sit here and talk about it, but let's make a change.
So here's the thing. This was actually
a 2-hour
look,
Wine
and I hate that it's it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
I hate that. You know,
Babe,
I'm nearly
anywhere to
50
go?
years old,
No?
and this was an epiphany I just had this past, like within 2 months.
We got pizza.
You what? Say that again. I was not paying attention.
2 months ago,
I'm nearly 50 years old, and I had this epiphany within like the past 2 months. Right? Is that all of these things that we're debating? I mean, not the myopic, not the specific issue, but in a broader principle, right? Because that question you asked is awesome. How do we do that? How do we encourage a moral people?
Right.
All of these questions were answered in debate at the time of the writing of our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. The answers are right freaking there.
They really are.
They're really
So
there.
listen.
Away from those.
Hang on, listen. I want to piggyback on your statement to make a point. To go back on what you just said to illustrate the point of your answer.
Do it. You're the moderator. What are you telling me for?
Hey, it's all good. Y'all been doing a great job.
You look so sharp, by the way.
He does. I dress down to make it.
Y'all have been doing a great job, so I've just been sitting over here being comedic relief. I mean, y'all have been having great points. So anyway, when we get into the gun debate, at the end of the day, the person that says I want to lock down guns, I want to do this, they start throwing out these things, right? I have learned to take a step back from this and say, look, at the end of the day, your desire is to stop this behavior over here,
Yes.
right? I don't want to get in the weeds with disagreeing on how silly it is when we start talking about, you're limiting the Second Amendment and all.
Right.
What's the history of the Second Amendment? And we get into this, we're way into the weeds, right? When at the end of the day, the person is just saying, man, I just want these school shootings to stop, right?
Yeah.
And
Or
so
accidental shootings in the home.
Right. And so at that point, with the school shootings at least, this is what I've learned to do. All right, that for me has been very effective, is to say, we have had guns in this nation since the dawn of the nation, right?
Since we
and
did,
and then very frequently the next step is, well, they're nowhere near as powerful, right? I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure there was a point in man's history where we didn't have guns; they had bows and arrows, and the founders understood that progression of weapons and technology,
Right.
so they weren't oblivious to the idea
Right.
that weapons progress.
And they still managed to kill
Right.
you.
Right.
And
back to
to
your
this point, the Girandoni air rifle was created in 1791 as a 46 caliber musket ball capable of 22 rounds of shots, accurate to 100 yards. At 100 yards, it could put a 46 caliber ball through a 1-inch thick pine board.
at 100 yards.
And you know
1791. It could fire off those 22 rounds in a minute to a minute and a half.
Yeah, that's a machine gun.
It was bam, 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 bam.
So saying all that,
So-
how many school shootings were in
Hang on.
1791?
Right, so exactly where the logic is going. There is citizens could own cannons.
That's right.
There is case law for owning cannons. Privateers were ships that had cannons on them that were owned by private citizens that were used in naval warfare in the Revolutionary War. It's like I'm going to roll up in the USS Minnesota, right? Like, hey, this is my ship. You guys can use this for your next war. Right, whatever, you know.
No offense to Minnesota.
So,
I
Jordan's
have
gonna
a
go
lot of
with you,
family
man.
from Minnesota.
so listen. So my point is that every means of weaponry and weapon power was more available then.
Yep.
Right? Yet the first mass shooting didn't happen until the 60s in UT. Right? And then again it was 20 years until Columbine. Right? And then it started escalating. So my point is, if we made it in this nation for over 200 years without mass shootings, yet all of the weaponry was more available then and as powerful as it could be, what changed in the 60s? Was it the availability of guns? No. So therefore, the gun cannot be the problem. Therefore, legislating the gun cannot solve the issue.
I agree.
In fact, in America, you can
And it goes
walk
back
in,
to now his answer.
I
You could
agree
walk
with you.
into a sporting goods store and lay cash on the table and walk out with the rifle.
The
or weapon of
Girardoni
your
air
choice.
rifle that was purchased by Lewis and Clark that was responsible for the expansion of our nation, 20-something guys went through the most hostile Indian territories without a single loss of life, was because of that rifle, and he bought it out of a store window, right, in downtown. It's like going downtown and saying, oh, you know what, I like that M16.
Did they have?
I'm going to go ahead. Hey,
did
how
they
much
have
for the
federal,
M16?
Did they have federal background
Right,
checks?
nothing, right?
So I guess
Okay,
And
so wait,
listen.
I gotta say something.
I'm gonna dial it, but I'm
Okay.
done. I'm done, right?
Okay,
My
good.
point was to say all that was to prove, number one, that the weapon, the gun itself, is not the
You're
root cause.
so right.
Cannot be the root of the cause.
Yes.
He loves when you say that.
Therefore,
You are right. No, I cannot wait to
therefore,
talk.
I'm going to bring it all back to David's statement, because
Yes.
David's statement
Which
said
came from my question.
he said that the answer was there in the original writings. They already addressed this issue.
Yes.
Right? They already addressed the issue.
Yes.
So, and it wasn't guns. So there we go. I'm done with my point.
Oh,
I'll
no.
shut up for the rest
no,
of the show.
you rocked that.
You
I'm
got her
gonna
squirming
say,
in her seat.
No,
Yeah.
I want you to know, y'all should be
Take
proud
notes.
of me. You should be proud of me. No, because I am trying so hard not to interrupt, and I interrupt a lot, and I'm working on that, even though I'm a
You
life
have the
coach.
floor,
I'm working
madam.
on. But what I'm going to say is, you said it. You're just a cool guy.
I'm just
I mean,
saying.
you're
I'm
about
just
to get out.
saying.
You're
I was
just a
talking
cool
to you,
guy.
man.
I kind of want to know what you're
Well, the
growing,
pizza
but
was
anyway.
above.
You just have to memorize the phrase. That's like your opinion, man.
Okay, so what is
You need to do
what
that.
you're-
You need a run inside the room.
Yeah.
You're up for like the most, what,
The Big
eligible
Lebowski.
bachelor? There you go.
Straight up the
That's
Big
what they
Lebowski,
said.
right
Okay,
here.
right, you are. So anyway, bringing it back
no.
around
Jeff-
to the,
he's Jeff
the
Bridges
topic.
reincarnated.
It's like I feel like I'm with a bunch of women. Like, these are guys. Like, I got to bring them back. Anyway, you were so right. You were so right. In the fact that, okay, so in the Santa Fe shooting, did they find bombs all around?
They did.
Okay.
They
were
did. I'd heard that
Yeah,
they were.
they
They
did.
were. I
Okay.
never heard the
Secondary
resolution of
plan.
that.
Okay,
Secondary plan.
hold on a
Okay.
second.
Wow,
Hold on.
I did not know
Well,
that.
okay.
Heard that.
Go ahead.
I brought this
Go ahead.
up.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it wasn't a gun.
No.
It was bombs.
Well, evil.
Okay, hold on.
Does
No,
evil.
hold the Okay,
I have a saying
I'm gonna
about
be
that.
really quick. You are right on. You were right on. You're right on. Evil is evil. You know what? I retract. I love this. You are so brilliant to have this show, because my husband is all about open guns. He was an ex-police officer, and now I get it. See, I get it. So right here, my mindset has changed listening to this.
That's the show.
Okay.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's
And
beautiful.
I
That's the
love
show.
that. I love that we can all be receptive to each other and
Just
hear
hearing each other. Yeah.
Okay, and so you guys rock, right? I will say this: evil is evil. You can remove guns, just like you said, but you know what? Back then they had bow and arrows.
That's right.
Evil will find a way to be evil.
Every
Yeah,
time.
that's right. Every
Right.
day.
Y'all
So
remember this. I'm not going to stop you. Just say remember this, because this is you'll get the double entendre.
But I just did.
Do you see the twitch?
Evil is progressive.
It is.
It never stays still.
So if you want to go
Evil
down,
is progressive.
So if you want to go down
I
the
lost my
other,
platform.
if you
No,
want to
no,
go down the
No,
other
okay,
the
hang on,
other
hang on.
Pandora box,
No,
it's,
go ahead.
it's
I wanted
always
her to
going to
finish.
be what you asked what changed.
Oh wait. I want to answer that, but I wanted her to finish her point.
Well, no, and I love hearing you speak, and I did get a twitch because
Yeah, I wanted to finish this point.
But this is the deal. Like you said, what happened to to what America was founded on, the principles of what we were founded on, and we were founded as a Christian nation.
I cling to that every single time.
As
Yes.
a Christian nation, clink. Yes.
Like it or not, historical
You know what? I'm
revisionist,
sorry.
it is a fact.
You know what? We are.
Revisionist.
Oh, I got to drink because that's
That's
not good.
true. Every
going.
day they're like, oh, it was not a founder. I'm
No,
like, okay, so,
so
it's
like,
all
like
Christian
I seriously,
people.
can you see chills? I have chills right now. So you know what? The problem is we're taking prayer out of school. We're taking God out of this country. That is the problem.
Partially.
That is right, partial problem. But truly, if you want to go to the root, what our country was founded on was what? A Christian foundation.
Yeah.
In God we trust.
Judeo-Christian
Right?
foundation.
So, I'm going to tell you what, there is still hope. There is still
Always.
hope. There's always hope. Everything, like you work with military people that have served our country that are wanting to take their lives, and you go and you want to teach them, there's hope today. Tomorrow's going to get better. Everything always gets better. And where is our hope founded? Our hope is founded in Jesus Christ. Our hope is founded on the truth. Our hope is founded in that He said, I love you so much, I'm going to send my Son to die for you while you were still sinning, so then you will have a relationship with me and you will have salvation. So everybody's about law. I love you. Oh, I really just, whoever his wife is, good job. Anyway.
She trained him up right.
Law, right?
I tell her that every day.
Right? The Old Testament is all about law because we got to follow the law. We got to follow the law. Okay, well then grace came, and grace came in the form of Jesus Christ. So if we truly want to make change, we've got to go to the youth. We got to go to the kids, and we got to teach them. And we got to love them. And they got to know they're unconditionally loved, and they got to know that they have a Savior that loves them.
Yeah.
Can y'all Google it for me just because I want to do the justice to it? We have no system of government capable of contending with the unbridled passions of man.
Avarice, right.
Right.
Yep.
John
Adams.
John Adams. I love John Adams. He's like I quote him all the time, and I usually abuse the quotes, but that's one that I really want to get right because that's a great kind of a wrapping up point. I had like 20 thoughts in my head. I was just trying to be concise. On the show, I'm Christian. I'm ordained. All this stuff. I take a very subtle approach with that.
Today.
Right. What I refer to as the Saint Francis of Assisi's approach, where he said, "Preach the gospel daily. Use words when necessary.
Only when you must." That's right. Yeah.
And so that's really
my favorite quote. By
so
the way.
The mission of the show is to lead people to truth, to make people fall in love with the idea of truth, right? And to not be married to any idea, right? Like you expressed an idea at the beginning of the show, and because you are not married to that idea, your identity isn't wrapped up in that idea. You are a lover of truth, and so just through discussing, you're like, you know what? That idea has kind of fallen apart, and I like this idea a lot better.
And through education and through hearing everybody's perspective.
That is everything this show is about. And I will say that, and I've never said this with any kind of live audience at all, is that for me, I'm always trying to lead people to truth because I believe that there's a source of truth, and that it's even more than just a source of truth, that the truth is an identity.
Yep.
Right? Because Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." And so if I lead people, it will set you free.
Amen.
Right? So I believe that if I lead people to the truth, even if I'm not being overt about it, even if I'm not saying, "Oh, I'm trying to tell you about Jesus," right? Even if I just say, "I'm trying to lead you to truth," right? I believe that I'm leading them to God. That's
Well, it's steps
it's
of
That's
progression.
my heart.
Yeah,
It's steps of
brilliant.
progression.
It's steps of
Exactly.
progression.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
And it's peeling back the layers.
Thank you
kind of
for
a thing.
doing what you do.
So, well, thank you. And you guys have been amazing guests, y'all. I mean, really, I just was being a ham the entire show, which is it's a rare mode for me where I'm in that zone because you guys were so really on point. Y'all were
I
really,
do actually join Melissa in voting for Spence here as the most articulate.
I know, man.
You verbalized
He was
the
nailing
thoughts
it
very
down,
well,
man.
You
Very
did.
well.
So,
Yeah.
well done, sir. We got to get you on the show more often.
I would love to.
Me too.
Absolutely. We'll see.
Don't worry, he says the same thing to me all the time, and I'm still coming back.
Wait a minute.
That's awesome.
I'm kidding. I'm
Wait,
kidding.
I need one more sip.
So I will tell you that for both of you guys, I have a kind of a what I call the Cool Kids Club. There's a separate group that we have on Facebook of people that have flexible schedules.
That's how I'm here today. I'm in
Right?
the Cool Kids Club.
Right. So every now
You
and
were
then.
supposed to be here today.
Oh,
Right.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
a true story. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I know what
If
you're
you knew the story behind it.
Okay.
what do you call it? Anyway, so they're last minute folks. Whenever somebody drops off, like we had Steve today, he called, like 1 o'clock, said, "Hey, dialysis was just extra rough. I can't make it." Those kind of life happens. We had somebody else that had a car accident on the way here. That's Dave jumped in. You
they're
filled in
okay.
for Steve, and you filled in for the car accident gal, and
the girl in the car
And I'm glad
accident's
everyone's
fine.
okay, by the way.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes,
Everybody's okay.
everybody's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yes.
this was all meant to be. It was all meant to be. It was absolutely. So anyway, I'll add you to that group. If y'all have flexible Fridays,
Absolutely.
I can add y'all to that group.
Every
please.
Friday I'll be
Oh,
here at
absolutely.
4.
So
Okay, so when Joe says be here at 6, he means the show goes live at 6.
yes.
20 years in the military, Joe calls me up. I'm sitting there thinking I'm doing the right thing. I get home a little early. I give me a piece of cheese, walk around, let the dog out, feed the fish. I'm like, it's 5 o'clock. Always got to be 30 minutes early, right? So I'm about 10 minutes out, talking to my mom, Savannah.
He's
Life
freaking
life
out, right?
is good. And I get this call. My mom's like, I was like, hey, let me call you back, Mom. I got somebody on the other line. Call back. Joe's like, where are you at? And I'm like, I'm on my way there. No big deal. I'm going to be 30 minutes early. It's good a good soldier does,
No,
right?
you're
He's
30
like,
minutes late.
You're supposed to be here at 5. I was like, what?
No laws were broken.
No.
Absolutely.
But
Speed
I'll
limit.
just point this out. Who was here early?
On
saying.
time.
Just
On
saying.
time.
I was
Yeah,
walking
love
up my
it.
guns. Making sure they were secured.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right, so we're gonna rate the wine. Today's wine. You got the picture of the wine up?
Yep.
It's on the screen.
Okay.
The Big Ripper. It's a Verdelho from Australia. I will have a picture of the wine and a rating of the wine up our Instagram channel. Be sure to hop over to our Instagram page, which is the
Now I
wine.
get it.
On Instagram, it's Wine No Wine Show. Just put that in. You'll find us on Instagram. And we'll have it posted with the ratings and a picture of the crew here from tonight, the guests. So show us some love over there. All right.
You didn't give directions, so I just want you to know that I just
You
figured
can
that
do-
out on my own.
you can
yes,
do-
I know.
Percentages.
I didn't know you didn't give directions. Like there's the first page is 1, and then there's the rest. I am a blonde, but I watched everybody. Y'all talk about beauty
Very
products. I'm
observant,
true.
right?
Yes, I am. So
You can give like percentages.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be just a 4 or just a 5. It can be 4 and a
okay,
quarter.
so I am all about that wine.
All right.
That wine was good.
5, wow.
Yeah.
No, it was really, really
It was-
good.
it was
a
very
great
solid.
summer wine for
Yes,
me.
yeah.
Sitting outside, it's hot, it's crisp, it's kind of, fruity, it's fun. I love it.
Yes. All right. 5.
Okay, so I am going to kind of take an inch and work it into a mile because I did screw up my shameless plug thing. So
I'll pour some more wine.
yeah, y'all pour some more wine. We'll be here another 10 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
Seriously.
No, here's the thing. As we were talking about this stuff, what I realized that I really needed to emphasize is that a part of the problem is that we as a people, in being a religious and moral people, a people of principle, right, a people of grounding, it's important that we live out that morality. If we want a better society, you can't wonder why this generation of kids is worse than the last,
Grew up on box wine.
and why that generation of kids is worse than the one before it.
We're listening to you.
I'm listening.
Well, it's just I'm trying to keep my thoughts because I have the same squirrel mentality. You know, I get distracted.
You think I have ADD? Are you?
I do have it. No, I do have it.
Oh, okay.
The squirrels are
Okay.
running all over.
I can
the
help
place.
you with that. I'm a life coach.
But
Go on.
but the point is that if we
You can find her at
Someone
gunsandbibles.com.
needs a drunk life coach. That would be perfect for me.
Hey, you know what? I am not drunk, by the way.
No, I'm not saying you are now. I mean, it would be great if I had a life coach.
I'm trying.
Oh, well, you know what?
Because that
You
would
need a
fit
life
my-
coach. Everybody does.
Here.
I'm
All right,
sure I
yeah,
do.
yeah,
I
we're
do.
getting you some
There
more
you go.
wine.
All right.
Charlie Sheen. Like
We might be here
Right,
20 more
yeah,
minutes. I don't know.
yeah.
No.
Squirrel. Go ahead.
Here's the thing: as we progressively stray further and further from that moral base,
Yeah.
and the generations get worse and worse, and then we're scratching our heads as to why, and it really plays out as in how we vote, right? And so my shameless plug: I'm going to retract the earlier one, although they did do a great job on the glasses. But tomorrow,
We build them.
for those of you that are in the greater Houston area, I recently accepted the role of the county coordinator for the Constitution Party of Harris County. And we have our monthly meeting that's taking place
Good for
right
you.
here in the
In
studios.
Joe's office.
Right
In
in
the
Joe's
studio.
office.
Look at you.
It's at 1960 and 59, 12 noon sharp. I invite all you guys because one of the things.
Me?
Yeah,
You.
everybody, all
we'll
you
see.
guys, everybody. Yeah, you will see.
Guys being
I am
non-gender specific.
so kicked out.
He's
I'm
invited.
So kicked out.
I want him here.
The
but, you know.
husband's here, but not me.
We'll see.
Okay.
Wait,
We will have a discussion
hey,
when
yeah,
this is
yeah,
over.
women can vote. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know,
Did he
your
really say
daughter's
that?
going to kick your rear end. I'm not worried about that. Ashley's
wife,
going to own you. Yeah, yeah.
I would like
Twitch,
to point out that the
Twitch.
wife is testing
It's
for her
happening.
black belt in just a couple weeks.
Oh,
Well, I
you're
believe
about
she's found the
to.
target.
You know what? You're
She already knows. She beats me up all the time.
Wow.
Here's the
Okay.
thing, folks. We have a
Please
party.
bring it back around.
I'm bringing it around. We have a party that is grounded and based on our founding principles, our Constitution, the Declaration of Independence,
Yep.
and the Bill of Rights.
Yep.
That you can read the party platform of the Constitution Party, read those three founding, or two founding documents with the Bill of Rights, and you will see that they directly overlay, right?
Yep.
And so this is a chance to be a part of what is truly the second party, because there is no two parties.
That's right. We have one party.
There's the Democrat and Republican. Each side is a half of the corrupt duopoly. If you really want to be a part of the second party, that's what we're doing here in Harris County. Meeting here tomorrow, noon. Come on out. You're going to, even if you're just curious, we don't look for political experts. It's not what we want. We just want passion. We want people who care.
Will there be
That's all we
I'm
care.
passionate.
So-
I don't know if you
Will
knew
there
that.
be pizza?
Yeah. All right.
We may have to hit it, but there's going to be pizza.
There will be pizza. Yeah, there will be pizza.
Yes, yeah.
All right. As
You're
far as
actually
the
a pretty smart guy.
no, not really.
You really
Not
are.
The only smart thing I did is two things. I accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I married my
Amen.
wife. That's it. Other than that, it ain't nothing good to me but
Cheers.
Jesus.
Cheers. Amen. Me too. Me too. I think
My
that
wife
goes to
told me
all
to
of
say
us
that.
here.
Wine rating?
4.75.
Really?
4.75.
Why only 4.75?
Only. You don't
I gave
understand.
a
That's a
5.
high rating.
I
You
gave a
don't-
5.
Well,
It's
you have
already-
to understand how hard I am on white wines.
Oh.
I'm more
Well,
of a
no,
red
I
wine
don't know
guy.
That was a
but,
hard rating?
But I've got to
I
say,
didn't know that.
But I've got to say that the wine club wines are consistently, and if you don't know about wine club,
he and I are both.
he
Yeah, he and I are both in a wine club together.
Send the page a message, the Wine No Wine Show, and this time I'll get all the credit since I'm the one to bring it up. So Joe will take care of me. But no, the wine club wines, we get monthly shipments, and they are consistently. It's very rare to ever rate one under a 4.
It's so funny because I will buy wines and bring it on the show. Yeah, right.
See?
No, flip my page. No, rate it straight the way you
Oh,
want.
I will.
Every time.
But we
to be
weren't given
honest.
instructions.
So
Yeah, no,
it's
they
just-
didn't know it's a 1 to 5
No,
scale.
I
Oh,
wasn't
and by the
told.
way,
We
my,
did talk about it.
no, they didn't know it was a 1 to 5.
Oh, no.
But,
I wasn't
but
listening.
listen. The earlier comment that I made
I
about
gave a 5.
the
I stand
remember
by
I said
that.
the grapes
Yeah.
are self-identifying,
good.
and it's actually they're saying they want to be plums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't try.
These are plums.
Oh, you didn't
Turns
get
out that's a
any?
carrot.
These are plums.
These are plums.
These are
I
plums.
see.
They're not
that's
really
what
a
that-
grape.
That's what that comment was earlier about the grapes and the plums.
See, you know what?
See?
Because y'all been doing this for a while. I'm a newbie.
I'm a veteran. I know.
You just
Fine.
throw me out to the wolves.
So
That's what
you
you've
say
done.
you say plums, I see carrots.
They're both.
he's a total new rookie. He's the first time he's been
First
on.
time on.
And he's only been on
Really?
like twice. Yep, he's only been twice. So.
And I was here the first time you were on too,
Yeah.
wasn't I? That was when we
Yeah.
first
So,
met.
Yep.
Yeah.
you're right.
That was
And
the
he came
infamous-
back anyway.
That was the infamous
I
no
didn't tell him you were
George
gonna be here.
Orsak episode.
That's true.
Okay.
he really, honestly, with the
4.75.
same piggyback on both of his
There's no
shameless
page
plugs.
for that.
They,
4.75.
Constitution Party. Look, I'll tell you, this was such a slam dunk on this single point alone. Imagine a party where after you elected the guy and you send him to office and he starts acting like a bonehead, where you can fire him, where you can recall him and bring him back. Because all of the people that are elected and run under the Constitution Party sign an agreement.
They signed a candidate pledge.
A candidate pledge that they will meet the requirements of the party, that they will vote in line with what the party has stated, and if they don't, then the people who elected him can recall him, bring him back home.
So I agree with the premise, but I think
That's
you're starting to get
section
down
12.
towards that. This is episode 12 now.
12.
You're starting
That means
to
we
talk
get
term
to come
limits.
back.
It's not term limit.
I think there's already
very different than a term limit.
There's already pieces in place to actually recall people. I love the concept, by the way. I really do, because I think that part of politics is really missing what we send politicians for. Politicians were meant to go to Washington to solve our problems and go back home.
Represent
Serve
us.
and represent our
the way we
Represent
feel.
us and then go home.
Yep.
It's
See,
not a
And to
retirement
have
program.
Right.
So
to have
listen.
somebody go to Washington back in 1953 and in 2018 still be in Congress, that's not how it was intended.
No. And so listen, I'll tell you, this is such a big point for me, that he said we don't have two parties, we have one party. They're just two sides of the same corrupt coin.
The
right?
duopoly.
Right.
I like that word.
Right. And it's-
Well, the
it's
funny thing
truth.
was, before he endorsed it, Ted Cruz identified it. Then he went and endorsed it.
Yeah.
You know,
So check it out. I've proved this point to my Republican friends that I used to call myself a Republican, is that the Republican Party always talks about being fiscally conservative, socially conservative, right? We're conservative, right? Well, how are you conservative when we just passed the biggest spending bill in the history of our country?
You mean bigger than Obama?
Right? Now check it out. Yes, bigger than Obama. And check it out.
Oh, this is-
I
Hang
think
on.
I need some more lip gloss
This
for
is
this.
episode 14.
Right.
need
Hang
some
on.
lip
Listen.
gloss for this.
Listen. Because I don't want to go too
It's
long.
going to be 8 o'clock.
My daughter keeps flashing the time at us here. So listen. We have a Republican-controlled House, a Republican-controlled Senate. We have a Republican president. Literally nothing stopping them from passing a budget that was conservative, that met a spending budget, that we spent less than we brought in. Nothing stopping them at all, but they spent the biggest spending bill in the history of the freaking nation. So if you want to tell me that the Republicans stand for fiscally conservative values, you're a liar.
I would disagree, because they just actually signed something that cut $15 billion from the budget. However, unemployment is now at 3.8, with the lowest unemployment in African
So
American.
Hang on. Wait. I
I'll tell you. So
don't want to get too far down the rabbit trail.
This is
Come to
episode
the
16.
meeting tomorrow.
I would love to.
Come,
Well,
please.
it depends. I've got another tattoo
Please.
scheduled for tomorrow at 5. So
You'll be out in plenty of time.
Yeah, plenty of time.
it's going to all got to conflict with the tattoo schedule.
I want you there.
But it is
So-
but it is interesting
need
to
to
see,
be there.
because there is, and this is probably another episode. I hope you have me on. But it is one of those things that
Me too.
So you look at somebody like Trump, and you look at somebody like with the current economic situation. I'm hiring at my plant left and right. I can't get enough people. The floodgates have opened at my plant, and it's when you start talking about conservatives and you start talking about Republicans and Democrats and liberals and the whole 9 yards, it's really funny, because I would probably call myself some sort of a liberal conservative. I am all for whatever you want to do in your house, go do it. Whatever you want to do in your personal life, okay.
It's libertarian,
And
not liberal.
It's really.
That's
I
libertarian.
don't
That's
know
not
if-
liberal.
I don't even know if it's libertarian, because
Liberal absolutely wants to
I'm all
control what you
for-
want to do in your
I'm
house.
all for what people want to do, is as long as it's in the spirit of the law. I'm okay with that. Personal freedom is a big thing, but you start talking about the current part of the country. You start looking at what's going on in America right now. Everybody's amazed at what's going on with Trump and the FBI and the DOJ and some of these other things. Nobody's seeing the larger picture of everything. everybody knows what's going on with the president. Everybody knows his character and or lack thereof. Everybody knows that. But you're, for the first time in many years, you're seeing somebody that's pro-business. You're seeing somebody that really is.
So what's the big picture?
Okay, but
in your
hold on.
opinion?
I think what you're seeing is, and this is probably a whole different episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. Yeah, I was gonna say let's
let's
rabbit trail. Look, we can talk politics all day, but we'll talk politics tomorrow.
Well, yeah. But the thing is, I do want to book into his point. I'm not going to argue. I want to book into your point because everything
15,
you raised,
20 seconds.
yeah, it won't take long at all. Because the condition, what has dovetailed for me in what we do here on the show, and what I'm doing in the Constitution Party, where it's dovetailed beautifully, okay, is that just like the show, the Constitution Party is the same way. If you go, I'm going to plant a seed in your head that is going to infect you the way you do social media from now on, okay? Because what you see every time, all those terms, liberal, conservative, libertarian, socialist, communist, all these things, what are they? They're ideologies.
That's right.
Right? And what we see in American culture is a war of ideology. And because of that war of ideology, no one is listening to each other.
Oh, you're absolutely
So
right.
right.
Oh, you're
If
absolutely
the
right.
lines
So right.
being drawn, you can draw 3 areas: religion,
He took Steve's
Okay.
place, by the way.
yeah, religion, race,
Oh, rolled it up.
yeah, religion, race, and ideology.
Yeah.
Along those lines of division, and you could probably add a 3B with economy, economic
Sure,
class,
sure,
right?
sure.
And that's what we see. It is racial, economic, ideological warfare out there, and every time someone makes a point, someone attacks them on the basis of
With a
where
coun-
they're
with a
coming from,
counterpoint.
right? You're a conservative, you're a liberal, and it becomes a reason to stick a finger in your ear and not
As soon as
listen
you hear
to
the
what
label, you're done.
That's right. Here's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say with the Constitution Party. Bring your ideology. Bring it. I don't care who you are, where you come from, or what you advocate. If you can take your idea and make it fit into a constitutional model of what government's supposed to be, we'll talk about it.
What time's that tomorrow?
That's great.
Noon.
I'll be here.
It breaks all the barriers.
I'll be
Do you
here.
guys-
Everybody's
Are you going
welcome.
to put the address out there so
Yeah,
people
yeah.
can?
I already
okay.
have. It's
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
Hey, it's the Constitution Party of Texas Harris County. Look it up and do a Facebook search. That's our page.
And anybody who
Constitution
wants
Party-
to know that's watching, just message the Whine Show page. We'll hit you up with the address. But it's the Chase Bank building in Humble on the corner of 1960 and 59.
And they have
It's-
pizza.
And we have pizza.
And we have pizza.
And it's and wine.
And tea.
Yeah.
And wine.
Wine and
Yeah.
tea.
We have a lot of wine. Yeah.
And you know what? We got prayer. And I'm going to
Right.
be praying for you tomorrow.
Right,
Thank you.
absolutely. So yeah, shameless plug for the Constitution
This is
Party.
the longest wine rating ever.
ever.
Ever in the
Ever.
history?
We've
I
gotten
get
two.
to be a part
We've
of that.
gotten two
Oh
done.
my gosh, I'm
Let's
so
continue.
excited.
Yes. Yeah, I had a second point. I don't even remember what it was. So.
Squirrel.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. That first point
Can
took
I
like
use this as a
17
fan?
minutes. So yeah, they shut the air off in this place. Like
Okay, they cannot do that.
I
Please do
know.
not shut the air off
they just,
again.
like call the building people. I have no control.
I'm
It sucks.
fine, really.
Actually, I'm fine if you'll have me
It
back on the show
sucks.
again. I'll
Yeah.
sweat. I'm good.
Let's do it.
4.75. Same. All.
4.75.
Listen, I like let you 5. I'm the same with David. A wine does not get a 5 from me easy, and I've only given like 2 wines in the entire history of the
Oh.
show.
I never have. I
So,
never have.
Really?
4.75 is like really
You
freaking
wear
great
more
wine.
knowledgeable in wine than
You
me.
did good.
And listen, I'll tell you.
And I'm fine with that.
With everything with what you just said, I 100% agree with the wine. With the wine, I clarify.
You better agree with everything she said.
Right.
Oh!
I'll tell you,
It doesn't
was,
end just when the show ends.
It's a great summer wine. I absolutely.
It was.
I will tell you. Dave told me this like separately. A message text. He said, let him open it. Give it at least 10-15 minutes to decant to let it mellow because it does start
Let
off.
it breathe.
Yeah, let it breathe.
So
It
I know
does.
a little bit about wine.
Yeah, it does
I've
start
been in
off.
Napa.
Who lets wine breathe? You take the cap off your chug.
No! Wine
You
needs to
unscrew it.
breathe.
You unscrew the cap.
You
drink
You
it.
put it in a cancer to let it breathe, and then an
A what?
aerator.
A decanter.
Yes.
No,
The
you,
show's not ending, Joe.
you
You know?
pour it in a beer mug. You
know
chug
what?
it.
Three,
I
Joe.
do
It
know
was
more
a little
about
dry to
wine
me.
than
It
I
was really
do.
good, but it was a little dry to
That's
me.
all right.
Yes,
3.
sir.
You just offended her.
All right.
No, I didn't, because I don't care.
He just tried to sneak it through real quick.
Yeah.
It's
He just wants to back to the party.
It's a 3.
3.25.
Oh no, mine's a solid 3.
All right.
1, it's Australia. 2, it didn't have bacon. America, bacon. 2 plums off. I gave it a 3.
Wow.
Well, first of all, I want to point out that Australia is the Texas of other nations.
That's exactly
So-
right.
I will say I spent 30 days at Holsworthy Barracks in Australia. I love Sydney. Sydney is the most rocking place in the world. It is fantastic. If you ever get a chance to go to Sydney, go and eat the chips. They're fantastic. However, America. And bacon.
America.
Yeah.
Hey, Sydney's got Hillsong.
I'm telling you, they're the
Hillsong
Texas
show
of
in
foreign
Hillsong.
nations.
Sydney, yep.
They're the Texas of foreign nations. I'm
They
telling
are,
you.
they are.
They
They
awesome.
kind of lost me on the whole
Babe, will
gun
you
thing
take me
back
to
in the
Australia?
90s. They're like,
They
yeah.
fixed that.
Yeah.
It's on
And
the
they got
recording.
kangaroos. And Outback.
And the kangaroos will kick your
And
butt.
Outback.
The kangaroos will kick your butt. They'll just roll up and like, yo,
So
bro.
Joe just gives us like the high quality wine at first, and then it's box.
Yeah.
I love you, Joe. You're great.
Hey, that's the number
I
one
love
part.
the show.
Right. That's actually how you're supposed to do it. You know.
You
You're
can
right.
say
That's
no
not how
to the
Jesus
wine.
did it.
No, well,
Oh,
You know what?
that's only because they came to him later.
We're out of wine. Yeah, here's the good stuff.
Hey, I like to point out
Oh
that
my
Jesus'
gosh.
first miracle was to be a bartender. So.
That's right.
You know what? Amen. Let's just talk about him more. Can we keep
Yeah.
going?
Yeah.
We are going to keep going
There's nothing
because there's an
stopping you.
after show live on
The
Instagram.
after party.
We do go live on Instagram after the show.
If,
we really?
if the show ever
Can I
ends,
be
we'll
in
be
that?
live on Instagram.
Yes.
I
I
can
was
be a part
promised
of
an
We're
that.
gonna leave from this sweat box,
Oh my gosh,
and we're
I'm
gonna
so
go.
excited.
We're
You
gonna
have to
sweat
keep
box.
watching. You have to keep
Instagram.
watching.
You've been so
On
patient.
what?
on Instagram.
On Instagram.
I can't hear
On
anything we got out there.
Instagram.
Huh?
What's your rating?
Oh, rating. Oh, mine was a 4.75.
No, we're going. What's
His-
the after show? It's
his
on
was a-
We
Instagram?
got a 5, 4.75, 4.75, 3, 3.
Trust me, trust me,
We got
trust
it.
me.
All right, people.
What's the after show? Where's the after show?
We've lost control.
No.
I
Instagram.
think they turned.
Oh,
I think they turned it
Instagram.
off like an hour ago.
They
They
Okay.
did?
There's probably 50
Yeah.
people watching right now.
Yeah.
Who cares? Those 50 people are important.
I will tell you, this is why I deal with Facebook banning my show like every week. They're like, no, you talked about Jesus too much, and then we're gonna have to shut you down. I mean, it's just like every other week I have to deal with that with Facebook. So
I get shut down a lot. That's
Just-
probably why
well,
I won't
not
be
the
invited
Jesus thing,
back.
But I mean, topics. They're like, oh, you promoted a political stuff, and I'm like, I'm not promoting. The show doesn't
Hey,
promote
we
anything.
just spoke
But
truth.
this one did.
We spoke truth.
If they wanted to shut us down this show, I would understand.
The individuals did promote what they believe in, and
Yeah.
that's what we do on the show.
Yeah,
And that's what we can do in America.
That's right.
The show is
Because
apolitical.
America is great.
It's not America. You gotta drop the A.
America. That's right.
That
America.
is the proper
And
Texas
Okay, so I'm going to say this. I am from
But-
Southern California. I'm a California girl.
Well,
Okay.
we won't hold that against you.
You know what? Everybody says that. But you know what? I'm going to tell you what. I was raised with some incredibly political, passionate people that believe in guns and Bibles. Okay?
And so they moved from California when?
Actually, they still live there.
They all.
Oh my
They
God!
all live in
They all
Austin
live there.
now.
They're the ones!
They all live in
They're
Austin.
the ones!
No,
And-
the-
and
here's
you
I've
the
heard
reality.
about them.
No, I'm
reality
serious.
is-
I will tell you. I'll be honest. My mother wore "Make America Great Again" hat,
In California?
and somebody banged on her window. I'm not kidding.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
They need
That
some
is-
wine, no wine.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. California has some pockets, like around Sacramento and stuff, that are,
They're actually
that are
very
very,
County.
Oh! Did you guys see the last election thing where like California was flipping flipping red?
So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
look,
hello.
look
wow.
if you look at the maps of where the big cities are, and again, this is probably episode.
We're gonna go ahead and
11.
leave, people. We're gonna go ahead
We're
and cut
leaving?
off. We're shutting off.
Oh, this was so
Bye.
fun. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.